Hi, and welcome to NM1200 Digital Photography. My name's Amber Daniger. So today, in this little podcast, for you external students, and especially external students that have never studied before with James Cook University, I just want to help you understand what the subject's about and what the expectations of the subjects are as well. So in this podcast, I know I'll talk about what the subject's about, where do you find the lectures and the tutorials, and what is discussion board, as well as the assessment tasks. I'll introduce them to you and talk you through the subject content. So the subject's an introduction to digital photography. So it's actually aimed or designed for people that have never used a digital camera before, a DSLR, like a professional level camera. It is really giving you the basic or the introductory skills, which with regards to the technical aspects of photography. That is how to take a photograph, how to expose correctly, and how to even compose or make a photograph look good. And so that development or understanding of composition and image design will flow through to your other subjects if you're doing design subjects or even visual art subjects as well. So there's no face-to-face lecture, and as externals you wouldn't be expected to attend anyway, but all the lecture content is online. And any additional content that we'll provide you that will supplementary to this lecture will come from lynda.com. So you will have to log in through your institution, which is your James Cook University. You'll find it in the drop down menu, and put in your login, your student number and password to get into there. So each week I want you to watch the lecture, and you'll find lecture handouts provided to make notes. So at the end of the semester there's an exam, an online exam. The more organised you are with watching the lectures and making notes, that'll assist you with being successful in the exam at the end of the semester. So, the tutorials. As an external student, you really have to engage in the tutorials. So this is where you're going to have to dig deep and find that self-directed learning skills. Each week in the tutorials you'll have a little introductory podcast and PowerPoint, and then there will be a set step-by-step task sheet. So step 1, set your camera such and what, so step 2, and take a series of photographs. So it'll be a step by step, so you just got to tick the boxes. Now these are great for the tutorials. Don't be discouraged if you don't quite understand it the first time round. The reason why I give you a tutorial handout sheet and use it like that is that you can take that and test or do this tutorial in different locations. So you might want to do it at home first, and then you might want to go out on location or something else. So follow the steps, make a note if you don't understand any of the content, and ask questions, please. So, and I'll show you where everything is on very soon, but there's an online communication space for students and staff through LearnJCU, which is your learning portal, and it's called Discussion Board. So you'll see that, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. But this is where you have an opportunity to ask questions about the tutorials or the lecture content, and even upload images for discussion. So as you're taking a photograph and you go and you're just not getting it, or you are getting it, so you could be look what I did, look what I captured, this is so much fun. So it can be a positive or experience, or it can be an ask for help. So you can upload images and say, look, I tried to take a image where I froze movement. What am I doing wrong? Can anyone help? And we'll always ask for your exposure details, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And so somebody can help you. So the discussion board really is your classroom, but it's a virtual classroom, okay? What I will very much stress that it's most important that you're polite here. So we have had rare instances in the past where things have gone a little bit pear-shaped, just not so nice. So be polite, be supportive of each other. It is exactly like in a classroom, okay? So, where do I find all this subject content? Learn JCU is where you'll find all the content, and of course you'll find that by going to the front page of your James Cook University website. You'll see up the top right hand corner, log in to Learn JCU. When you get there, what you'll need to do is find your subject. There's NM1200, and you should be looking for that external subject. Here you'll see a tab for announcements. That's that one. Now announcements I'll always feed them through to your email, but if you can't find it in an email and you go, oh, I'm sure Anne sent us an email about something, just go into here and you'll see your announcements there. There'll be a copy of it. You'll find your subject outline. Now the subject outline is where I'm providing this information for you from. So do download, keep a copy of your subject outline. It is your guide for the subject, and it will tell you what's coming up next week, what lectures you should be looking at, and all the information's there. The next, and the contacts. In the contacts area here, you'll find my contact details as well as the contact details of the subject coordinator, and but come to me first, and then if you have any large problems, and I really hope you don't, just come to me first. If you have anything more that you need help with, you can reach out to Richard. However, he is just a coordinator, so he's like my supervisor. Okay, so the big one. So that's in that first bit. Announcements, subject outline and contacts. The next part here is your learning resources. So this is where you're going to find your lectures, your online lectures, your PowerPoint, the handouts to go with the lectures, your tutorial tasks, everything all there. But for external students, in the learning resources you will find a folder which is just for external students. So everything's in there. Yes, you can go in and have a look at everything else, but everything additional, your tutorial tasks, everything that's been customized is in your external students folder. The lectures and the lecture handouts are just in the learning resources. There won't be any extra readings for this subject, so you don't need to be concerned about that one. But under the assessment tab is where you'll find descriptions of the assessment tasks, as well as the interactive portal where you upload your assessments. But we'll go through that just a little bit later in the semester. We don't need to deal with that right now. Here's that all-important discussion tab. Okay, and the collaborate is not what I'm going to use because I've got students all over the world. Time zones are a problem for us. So instead I find the discussion boards much better because it's not time dependent or time zone dependent. And you will also, down here, all important, my grades. So once you've submitted assessment tasks for grading, this is where you'll be able to access your grade. And feedback, of course, as well. So, what do we expect you to do? What type of assessments? So as I said right at the beginning, this is an introduction to photography. So really it's about testing you to see if you can understand the content that's been taught. So over the semester there will be a series of 6 photographic tasks. Each one of them, so as you can see, it's all worth collectively 60% of your mark, which means each one of these tasks is only worth 10% Okay, so if you don't do well at the first one, and quite often students don't do as well, there's a gradual um, gain in their knowledge, and so the work does become better by by week 12. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're not going to get an HD in that first one, don't be discouraged. That's okay. Number one, it's only worth 10% of your overall, 60% of the grade. So it's only a very small risk that you're taking there, and you will get better. So there's really just the online photographic tasks. These photographic tasks and descriptions of these tasks are in the subject outline. So I encourage you to read them. And then there's that final online exam, which is an open book exam, and that's why I'm encouraging you to take notes well. So look at those lectures, take your notes, and use those notes as your guide for the exam. Okay. One thing, and it is in the subject outline, all the images for these assessments must be taken after the start of semester, okay? And all that's explained in the subject outline again. So, as an external student, you'll have access to your own camera equipment and other items. So really, to successfully complete this subject, you will need access to a digital SLR camera and a tripod. So there is there's a tutorial exercise as well as assessment task, which will require slow shutter speed, and to successfully capture slow shutter speed, you must have a tripod. An SD card, so of course you need that. Now with your SD card, don't use it as a backup device, use it as a capture device. Once you've shot, go to your computer, download, archive, and then reformat the card, so it's only a capture device. You'll need a computer with access to the Adobe suite. So for this subject specifically, Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Bridge. And I do encourage you, I imagine that you're doing other subjects as well, that you purchase an external hard drive to archive and back work up. Now we suggest to students that they have 3 places where they archive all their work, and especially all their assessment work. So if you've got items stored on your computer, which you really shouldn't do, make sure that it's on an external hard drive as well as maybe USBs, whatever you can afford, but 3 places online, so cloud storage. So find those 3 places. Try not to store onto a computer though, because it slows down the overall speed of your computer. So with the assessments, it's an individual assessment, so you can't, don't do it with your friend. Even if you travel together to shoot in a location or whatever, make sure that your work is substantially different. All work is submitted online via LearnJCU on that assessment tab, and the work must include a signed assessment task sheet. Now you'll find this on LearnJCU as well in the assessment folder under the Learning Resources tab. And so try to work with the brief or the topic or the description of the topic. If you're not sure, then please ask. But what I do have is, in LearnJCU under Learning Resources, there will be a folder which is assessment hints or assessment tips. I'm not quite sure what I called it now. But in there'll be a little podcast talking about what the assessment task is, and have some past student work in there for inspiration. So it's not hard. If you still don't understand, please ask. And the assessment must be completed using a DSLR camera. You can't take it on your camera phone or anything like that. And as I said before, the photograph must be taken after the start of semester. There's very specific image quality and size that we need, and this is also in the subject outline, but there's a podcast and a step-by-step instruction sheet on how to resize your images to this correct size. So don't be concerned, everything's provided for you. So, contact information. The best way to contact me is via my email, obviously, and also you can, like I say, all Professor Richard Niles' contacts are on the subject outline. He's a subject coordinator, so if it's a question about the subject, he's just going to redirect you back to me. So come to me first if it's something I can't help you with, if it's no organisational or a larger problem, I will direct you back, or I'll go and see Richard on your behalf. Okay. Discussion board is a way to contact not only myself but other students. So as I said, this is your virtual classroom, and it's a great way to interact with each other. And quite often I receive emails asking the same question. No, so when is that assessment task due, or what is the next one? So if you put that onto the discussion board, then no, the other students are probably going to say it's in the subject outline, which is probably what I'll tell you as well. Or no, ask the question on discussion board. If it's a private question, email me. And the announcements is where I'll post information relevant to all of you. So that's me, and hope you enjoyed this subject and this semester. And I'll start seeing your posts on discussion board and your work in also in discussion board and also in the assessment portal. Thank you. Bye.